Hello and welcome everybody from Vietnam, from Ho Chi Minh City. I visited this region already back in 2018, 5 years ago. Now it is April of 2023. Well, what made me to return? It was the cheapest flight to this country comparing to other Southeast Asian countries and cities, and also another reason that in 2018 I didn't have my YouTube channel, so I thought that I will revisit Ho Chi Minh City and also the capital Hanoi, which is 1,760 kilometers far from here. So yeah, a lot of Vietnamese vlogs will come soon, and I prepared you many interesting information. First of all, about Ho Chi Minh City. This is the largest city of Vietnam and also the most populous. In 2019 it had a population of 9 million people. Vietnamese people started to migrate here in the 17th century to the area called Dong Nai back at that time, and before that, more centuries ago, Funanese, Khmer and Cham people were living in this area. In 1862 the Treaty of Saigon was signed between the French Empire and the last emperor of the Nguyen house, Tu Duc, and in this treaty this territory was ceded to the French, who planned the construction of a huge colonial city here. So yeah, they constructed many French architectural style buildings in the 19th and the 20th century. So because of that, this city was nicknamed as the Pearl of the Orient and also as Paris of the Extreme Orient. Vietnam went through prolonged warfare in the 20th century. After the Second World War in 1945, the leader of the nationalist Viet Minh, the communist revolutionary Ho Chi Minh, proclaimed independence from France, and of course the French didn't want to accept this. In 1946 France returned to reclaim their colonial territories, and the first Indochina War was started. Ho Chi Minh was leading the Vietnamese troops, and he was successful. Vietnam won this war. In 1954 it was ended, but as you can see, it took many years until they could beat the French people, and they left this territory. So yeah, it was a very long and bloody war. 2 years later, in 1956, some treaties were signed and Vietnam was separated in two parts: South Vietnam and North Vietnam. North Vietnam was communist and South was anti-communist, and shortly after the Vietnam War began, also called the Second Indochina War. Well, I will tell more information about this war in a separate vlog, which I want to dedicate to the Vietnam War. So what happened, I just tell you very briefly, very shortly. The South was anti-communist and supported by the United States, and the North was communist and supported by the Soviet Union and China. And it was a very long war between the two Vietnams. The South Vietnam was called Republic of Vietnam, with Saigon its capital. So yeah, I'm here currently in Ho Chi Minh City. I will tell you more about the naming, but at that time it was called Saigon, and well, Saigon was the capital of the South. In the 1950s, the US supported the leaders of South Vietnam, of Republic of Vietnam, the Diem regime, with $2 billion US dollars, and the industry was growing very fast. By 1960, half of the factories were located in Saigon, in this city, but well, it was just like a balloon, because without the US aids, this capitalist idea was not working. So what happened in the 1960s? It was a very high inflation, and South Vietnam was very dependent from the foreign investors and from the foreign aid from the US. So industry was decreasing very fast. As a result of widespread urbanization, Saigon had a population of 3.3 million people by 1970, and the United States Agency for International Development stated that they turned the city into a huge slum. And Stanley Carnot, a well-known journalist and historian from that time, said that Saigon was suffering from prostitutes, beggars, homeless people, drug addicts, and rich American guys who were coming here to exploit the very poor people, and also participated in child prostitution. So yeah, you could buy everything here, and Stanley Carnot said that Saigon was the biggest black market of the whole world. On the 13th April of 1975, Saigon was captured, and the Vietnamese War ended by the victory of North Vietnam, and South Vietnam was under the control of the Vietnamese People's Army. In 1976, upon the establishment of the Unified Communist Socialist Republic of Vietnam, Saigon was combined with some suburban districts, and this is how Ho Chi Minh City was formed in order to honor the late communist leader Ho Chi Minh. Actually, Ho couldn't see the victory of North Vietnam, unfortunately. In 1965, he stepped down from power due to health problems, and in 1969 he passed away at the age of 79. Today Ho Chi Minh City is a very developed city. It is the manufacturing and the business hub of Vietnam, so those problems from the 1970s are long forgotten and long solved. It's a very rapidly growing city in this current century. Ho Chi Minh City's economy consists of industries from mining, seafood processing, agriculture, construction, trade, architecture, and tourism. Ho Chi Minh City has a tropical savanna climate, and this means that the humidity is between 78% and 82%. So yeah, this is very tough for a European tourist. That's why I'm sweating all the time, and I'm thinking that I don't have enough oxygen in my brain. Maybe it's just a fake illusion, probably because of the high temperature. It is 33 degrees, but Google says that it feels like 41. So yeah, it is very hot now in April of 2023 when I'm visiting Ho Chi Minh City. So the city has two seasons: a dry season from December until April, and a wet season from May until December, and this time is raining all the day, so it's not very advisable to come here at this time. The city center is the District 1. This is where usually the tourists book their accommodations, but also the main sightseeing attractions are located here. These are French colonial era buildings, but if you want to explore the local life, then it's also a good idea to just walk around and get lost, or try some local restaurants. That's also a famous spot. And other attractions are related to the Vietnamese War, so if you are interested about history, it's also recommended to come to Ho Chi Minh City, to Saigon. And well, let's get started, and I will present you the main sightseeing attractions of the city. This is the Bitexco Financial Tower. The construction was completed in 2010 when it became the tallest building in Vietnam, and kept this status until January 2011, when it was surpassed by Quang Nam Hanoi Landmark Tower. It has 68 floors and a height of 262.5 meters, making it the second tallest building of the city, fourth tallest in Vietnam, and the 412th tallest in the world as of May 2012. The tower is owned by Bitexco Group, a Vietnamese multi-industry corporation with a focus on real estate development. Bitexco Financial Tower is a mixed use project with offices, retails and entertainment space, and as you can see there above, it's also helipad. So this is Vietnam's first non-rooftop helipad on the 52nd floor of the tower, and the helipad extends 22 meters out from the main structure. It is strong enough to carry a helicopter up to 3 tons of weight. But what is more interesting for us is an observation deck. So we'll go there. We'll have 360-degree panoramic views of Ho Chi Minh City, but there are also guest facilities and a gift shop. So yeah, let's go inside. So the observation deck is located on the 49th floor. I think this alpinist window cleaning is not an easy job. I hope they will be fine. Absolutely splendid view. There's also a small exhibition of Ao Dai, which is the traditional Vietnamese dress. This is the Ben Thanh market, one of the oldest markets of Ho Chi Minh City. The original market started out in the early 17th century as an informal wet market founded by local street vendors. The market was formally established by the French colonial powers, but it was destroyed in a fire in 1870, and then it was rebuilt in 1920, and the market was moved to a new building called the new Ben Thanh market. So this is actually what we can see here, and it has a speaking name because Ben is actually means harbor, and Thanh means citadel. So this is how it is composed, because the original building was in near the harbor citadel. So the market operates all year round and opens at around 6 AM every day, and the official closing time is 6 PM, but after 6 PM this day market transitions into a night market which runs until 10 PM, and well, the night market offers similar items to the day market, but you can find more food here. It's dinner time, so these street stalls expand into sit-down restaurants offering tables and seats. So the market is one of the earliest surviving structures in Ho Chi Minh City, and an important symbol of the city because it is a famous destination for many local and foreign tourists all over the world. It welcomes more than 10,000 visitors in a day, and well, it has more than 1,500 booths with more than 6,000 small business selling wholesale and retail items from consumable to luxury goods. So you can find not just food here, but jewelry, clothes, souvenirs, shoes, and everything. So yeah, let's go inside and discover it.
Mára còn mua đây. Quay như con bơ nữa.
Hello, you buy something? Get a key for sir.
Cồ với ướp. Можно, а там не знаю.
weeks ago I posted the blog about the capital city of Laos, Vientiane. It's much more cheaper than Vietnam actually, because there you can get some local food for $1, but here is like $2-3. So yeah, Vietnam is still very cheap if you compare it to European prices. But well, what I wanted to say is that Vientiane is also a twin city of Ho Chi Minh City. This is the Tao Dan Park. The park was established by the French and it was called Jardin de la Ville, so the park of the city, and nowadays it's called nicknamed as the lungs of Ho Chi Minh City, because it is 10 hectares large, and it has a lot of greenery, so it is very important in such a huge city to have parks like this. Between 1896 and 1926 the French built here several statues and also a soccer field, a swimming pool, and tennis ground. And back that time that soccer field, that football field, it was the most modern in the world. Yeah, so this is always a confusing name. It is soccer or it is football. In Europe we call it football, so actually it is when you kick the ball with your legs, and this is the most famous sport in the world. But well, in US they name football with other sport, and they call it soccer, and also in other parts of the world, so it is always confusing. Some tourists always ask me, when they ask me what kind of sport do you play, and I tell them I play football, they look very surprised on me, because actually they mean something else. It's not American football, of course. I think I'm too slim for playing American football. So yeah, in America they call it soccer, what we call in Europe football. The main attraction of the Tao Dan Park is the ancient temple of the Hung kings. Beautifully decorated with the two guardians on each side. There you can see Hung. In the ancient times, this territory was part of Cambodia. So as a remembering, we can find here a Cham tower. You can see that it has a Khmer architecture style. I have a very old vlog about Angkor Wat from Cambodia, so that time I didn't made it very professionally, so the vlog is only with a phone and only in Hungarian language, but there is English subtitles, so if you like you can watch it. There you will see many towers which are similar to this. An old man approached me. He was very strange. He had only 3 teeth, very old, and he said that he was fighting in the Vietnam War, but on the side of the Americans for South Vietnam, and after the end of the war he was put in prison by the communists, so he is still angry on his country. He doesn't love Vietnam, but now he's working as a tour guide, and he showed me a blog of some American tourists. I read it very quickly. They said that they met this old guy in the park as me, and they hired him for 3 hours motor ride, and he showed them around, and it was amazing. I don't know if it was just a fake story or something, but he offered me the same thing, that he will show me around. Well, I refused politely, because I want to explore on my own, and well, I think in my opinion it's not very safe to ride these motorbikes in this traffic, but they're usually very slow, so it's a matter of taste of the tourists, so many people do it. It's actually not the end of the world, not too dangerous. I also tried it in Thailand, so yeah, it's actually up to you, but accident can always happen, so try to be cautious. We will visit now the Independence Palace. In 1867 the French occupied Saigon, and they wanted to select a central place in order to construct a palace for the governor of Indochina, and this place was chosen, and at that time the palace was called the Norodom Palace. In 1945 the Japanese attacked Vietnam, and they conquered this territory, and they also chose this palace as their residence, as the residence of their army. In 1954 France lost the first Indochina war and lost their colonial powers in this territory, so Vietnam got its freedom, and General Paul Elie, the representative of France, handed over the Norodom Palace to the Prime Minister Ngo Dinh Diem, and he renamed the palace to Independence Palace, and 1 year later he deposed the President Bao Dai, and he became the only president, and he moved with his family inside of the palace. Construction of the current Independent Palace was ordered by South Vietnamese President Ngo Dinh Diem in 1962 to replace the old palace, which was badly damaged due to being bombed by 2 dissident Republic of Vietnam Air Force pilots. It was constructed according to a design by Ngo Viet II, a Vietnamese architect who won the first Grand Prize of Rome, Grand Prix de Rome, in 1955, the highest recognition of the Beaux-Arts School of Paris. President Diem did not see the completion, as he and his brother, and also his chief advisor Ngo Dinh Nhu, were assassinated in a coup d'état, and in this coup d'état General Nguyen Van Thieu, the head of the army, took control of South Vietnam, and the Independence Hall served as his home and his office from October 19 1867 to 21 of April 1975, when he fled the country as the North Vietnamese forces swept southwards. At 10:45 o'clock on the 13th April of 1975, a tank of the North Vietnamese army bulldozed through the main gate, which you can see in front of us. So this tank bulldozed through the main gate and ended the very bloody and very long Vietnamese war. It was very funny that many people stopped me to take a photo together, probably because I'm wearing this t-shirt of the Vietnamese flag, but well, maybe also because I'm very tall. In China also happened to me that many smaller local people came to me and asked for a photo. Of course, I didn't say no. It was very funny, and they were also laughing and saying, "Oh, you're tall." They didn't speak much English, but yeah, it was a moment of amuse. So yeah, let's go inside of the Independence Palace and explore it. Very communist style building. It feels like I'm in Romania. We also have very similar buildings, palaces. There are many meeting rooms like this. And there's also a nice view of the garden of the palace. 95 rooms can be found here, and it is 2000 square meters, so it's a huge palace. There's also a bunker. president's room, president's bedroom. Unfortunately, I cannot show you one of the main sightseeing attractions of the city. It's the Notre Dame Cathedral Basilica of Saigon, officially Cathedral Basilica of Our Lady of the Immaculate Conception. The building is under renovation, but as I traveled here in 2018, I can show you some photos which I took that time. So it was established by French colonists who initially named it the Church of Saigon, in French l'Église de Saigon. The cathedral was constructed between 1863 and 1880. The name Notre Dame Cathedral has been used since 1959. It has two bell towers reaching a height of 58 meters. People believe that a miracle happened here. Locals saw during October 2005 that the statue of Holy Mary shed tears, and this attracted thousands of people and forcing the authorities to stop the traffic. So yeah, we can take a look at least at the statue. It's also interesting that the original building materials were imported from France, but many tiles have since been made in Saigon to replace the tiles that were damaged by the war. So this is the statue of Holy Mary. It's very bad that we cannot see the cathedral, but I think it's worth to have some renovations because it was constructed in the 19th century, so yeah, it's good to keep it preserved. It is also important to admire the very beautiful old building of the main post office of Ho Chi Minh City, which is called the Saigon Central Post Office. Because it was constructed in the late 19th century, it was one of the first post offices of the French Indochina, of course built by the French colonial powers. Construction took place between 1886 and 1891. And now it is like a tourist attraction, but still functioning as a post office. So many people go inside just to send some letters or some postcards to their beloved ones back in home, just for fun. But well, it has 1,000 of parcels, and many letters are received and delivered on a daily basis. One more interesting fact about the post office is that it was designed by Alfred Follo, or Foyo, I don't know how to pronounce it correctly in French, but it doesn't matter, because what it matters is that many people wrongly say that it was designed by Eiffel, Gustave Eiffel, who also designed the Eiffel Tower in Paris, but this is not correct. The designer was Alfred Foyo. It is also advisable to visit the inside of the post office because it's absolutely amazing. First of all, we can find a special painted map that was just created after the post office was built. The first one is in front of us. It's a map of southern Vietnam and Cambodia, titled Ligne télégraphique du Sud-Vietnam et Cambodie. I shouldn't force this French pronunciation probably, but it's funny for me. Well, it doesn't matter. It means that it's the telegraphic lines of southern Vietnam and Cambodia, 1892. But well, it was also updated after some years. So yeah, it is a very beautiful colonial era building. We can see a painting of Ho Chi Minh in front of us. You can see it has a 19th century design. And on the other side we can also find another hand-painted map which presents Saigon and its environment. Saigon et le environ. So yes, these two maps also very interesting part of this post office. It was very interesting style to make maps back that time, but if you're a fan of Vietnamese coffee, you can also try it here. I didn't try it before because I'm allergic to the caffeine, so my heart is pounding very fast and I cannot stand the caffeine. So I drink very rarely coffee, probably one time in a year, maybe less. Okay, less is actually zero, but what I wanted to say is that if you're coming to Vietnam, it's and if you're a coffee fan, it's a very good idea to try the Vietnamese coffee because people say it has a world-class quality. So here you can buy many postcards and send it through the post office also to Europe or everywhere to the world, and it's also possible to buy souvenirs here or buy a ticket for the hop-on, hop-off bus tour. So many possibilities here. It's recommended to visit the Saigon post office. You have many reasons to do it. This is the Jade Emperor Pagoda. It was built in 1909 in honor of the supreme Taoist god, the Jade Emperor or King of Heaven, Ngok Hoang. According to the folk conception, Jade Emperor is known as the supreme god who heads and manages all things in heaven and earth. He has the right to decide human fates. And next to the Jade Emperor there are many other gods, many other deities helping him to govern. This is actually a multi-fate temple because it also has alternative name Phuoc Hai Tu, Sea of Blessing Temple. So this message is clearly Buddhist, and similarly the Chinese characters in the main temple hall mean the light of Buddha shines on all. This pagoda has a reputation for fertilization. Couples of husband and wife having no children often pray sincerely in Kim Hoa Tan Mau and 12 midwives' place of worship. So Kim Hoa Tan Mau is a goddess caring for fertilization on the earth. Tourists who go to this otherworldly pagoda to pray for children are put a red thread on their wrist. If they desire a son, they must pray and hang that thread on the statue on the right. If they want a girl, they hang it on the statue on the left. Then they rub their stomach 3 times and rub on the stomach of the children's statue also under the foot of the midwives 3 times. And finally they rub their stomach 3 times again. If their dreams come true, they have to buy fruits, incenses and fresh flowers to go to the pagoda and show their gratitude towards the goddess. Visitors also pray for good chances in love. People believe that only by burning incenses, saying your name and your beloved's name, and touching the matchmaker statue, your wish will come true.
Niên rộng, cái còn niên rộng lắm, rộng hả? Rộng chân đó, niên hay nè.
Trên lầu còn nữa này.
So this is the statue of the Jade Emperor, the main god. Now we'll visit the Jiaklam Pagoda, which was constructed in 1744, and it makes one of the oldest temples in Ho Chi Minh City, and it is a Buddhist temple. It was renovated during the centuries, and now it is in a very good shape. So yeah, let's go inside. Absolutely splendid, absolutely amazing pagoda. Actually, it is called a stupa. This is the official name in Buddhist terminology. So the stupa is 7 stories high and has a hexagonal shape, and each story comprises tiled roofs and doors. The construction of the stupa began in 1970 under the architectural plans of Vin Huang in order to store the relics of the Buddha. However, constructions was put on hold for a long time and did not resume until 1993. The tower stands 32 meters high. It is currently one of the tallest Buddhist towers in the city. It is a noted landmark of the city. On June 17, 1994, the Unified Buddhist Congregation of Vietnam staged an opening ceremony for this large stupa. In all, Jiaklam temple has 1100 historic statues made from wood with gold coatings painted onto the exterior, and in addition there are also 7 bronze statues. I read that usually the tourists also can climb to the 7th floor, as it's a 7-story building, but now it is unfortunately closed. is absolutely horrible. You cannot imagine what is here in Ho Chi Minh City. It's worse than in Bangkok. And well, Bangkok is actually a twin city of Ho Chi Minh City. So many motorbikes, it's absolutely amazing. Now we'll visit the Golden Dragon water puppet theater in Ho Chi Minh City. Well, water puppetry is a tradition dating back to the 11th century to the area of the Red River in North Vietnam. So when the rice fields were flooded, usually people entertained each other going inside of the water, and they carved out of wood some puppets, and they were making fun with these. So this is how water puppetry started. Nowadays it's like a modern combination of this old tradition. So we can imagine on the stage pool where the water is like waist deep, and the puppeteers are hidden behind the stages, and there they move the puppets in order to present and explain some Vietnamese legend or local story. And in the meanwhile, also traditional Vietnamese music is played, and sometimes also there are some Vietnamese songs. So yeah, actually I saw this already in 2018 in Hanoi, but well, I wanted to include it in the vlog for in order to have a complete vlog about the most important sightseeing attractions of Ho Chi Minh City. Usually you just go on the website of this theater and book online, but well, I had a very spontaneous idea to come here, and I saw that the show begins in 1 hour, so the online booking was already blocked. I couldn't buy my ticket online, but I came here and it was absolutely no problem, so I just booked it at the booking office, and well, it is 300,000 Vietnamese dong. So if you compare it to other prices, it's a little bit higher, but I think it is like 12 euro. I think it's okay, the price for such a theater show, and also it's a unique Vietnamese tradition, so I think it is worth to try it and watch it. The puppets are made out of wood and then lacquered. The show are performed in a waist-deep pool with the water surface being the stage. A large bamboo rod supports the puppet under the water and is used by the puppeteers, who are normally hidden behind the screen, to control them. Thus the puppets appear to be moving over the water. This captivating 50 minutes show provides a window into the country's culture. It's presented in Vietnamese, but the strength of the puppet characters, both people and animals, transcends to language barrier, so actually it is no problem that we don't understand everything. Live music enhances the experience. The talented musicians play traditional instruments such as bamboo flutes and 2 stringed violins. Well, if you are sitting in the front row, be prepared for some gentle splashes, but it's absolutely fine. It's not a big deal.
tôi mất rồi.
Cái ta đi.
Nó đâu rồi?
Tôi đây.
Ra đây, trông là vịt nghe chưa? Tôi lại đồng ý tôi gì?
This is the Sri Mariamman Hindu temple dedicated to the goddess of rain, Mariamman. She is the main Tamil mother goddess, predominantly venerated in the rural areas of South India. The goddess has many hands that represent many types of power. It was built in the late 19th century by Palaniappa Tevar from Patukkotai, Patukkotai, Tanjavur district, a trade community from Tamil Nadu, India. It serves around 50 Tamil families in Ho Chi Minh City. In 1950 the temple was rebuilt. This is the model structure nowadays. Just a short note about the most famous party street of Ho Chi Minh City. This is the Bui Vien walking street, and here you can find nightlife, clubs and all kind of entertainment if you are seeking for it. This is Saigon River. It's very important to Ho Chi Minh City as it is the main water supply as well as the host of Saigon's port, with a total cargo volume loaded and outloaded of more than 35 million metric tons. So it's very important for trade industry. So the Saigon River rises near Pum Daung in southeastern Cambodia and flows south and southeast for about 225 kilometers and empties in the Soai Rap River, which is then empties into the South China Sea some 20 kilometers northeast of Mekong Delta. So this was the vlog about Ho Chi Minh City. I hope that you enjoyed it, and if that's so, please subscribe to my channel if you didn't do it yet. It's very important to push on the bell icon because this is how you get notified about the new contents. Have a nice day and goodbye.